Hi everybody, this will be my video testimonial for Revive Stronger. My name is Chrystal and I'm 35 years old and I'm a full-time pharmacist. No kids, but husband and dogs, so very housewifey in that aspect. Little bit of background on me. I was moderately athletic in high school. I played track and volleyball. I did all right at both of those. After college, I became a runner for fun. And in order to try to improve my running, I stumbled upon CrossFit. And I did CrossFit for about a year and loved it. It was amazing. But my local gym closed. And so I built a garage gym and had a lot of trouble trying to program on my own for CrossFit. And I stalled in almost all aspects. And so I decided to focus solely on muscle building and strength building, and started following a few people on Instagram to figure out how to do that, how to focus on that. And I end up being a really bad program hopper, really bad. I probably ran 5 programs in the span of a year. And I had some moderate success with a couple of them, but nothing that made me want to stay with any of them or made me sustain any of that mild progress, moderate progress. And so I decided to work with a coach. And though I did have success in working with that coach, we didn't click personally. And so I decided not to continue that relationship. And I had been following Steve and Revive Stronger on Instagram for about a year. And I just decided, you know what? I really want to work with Steve. He just gives out so much free, wonderful content. I just feel like I really want to give him a shot and give Revive a shot. And so I did. A couple of things about me that I am not is I am not a bikini competitor. I am not a physique competitor. I don't powerlift. I don't compete in anything. I'm just kind of a very ordinary, everyday person who really enjoys fitness and who really, I don't make it my number one priority in my life, but it is a high priority in my life. And I'm just kind of very ordinary, I guess, run-of-the-mill, just kind of an ordinary person. And so that's one of the great points about working with Steve and Revive, is that you don't have to be any of those competitors to have really great success and have a really good working relationship with them. You can just be sort of an everyday person like me and fit right in with the team, and it's great. I wanted to list a couple of ways I think that Revive Stronger stands out among the crowd, because there are a plethora of online coaching positions and online coaches and opportunities out there. And it's like, how do you narrow down who to work with? And I want to list some ways that I think that they just really stand out. And so the first is video check-ins. With my first coach, I had email check-ins twice a week, and that was fine, and it worked out. But I really think the video check-ins are a game changer, because there's so much that can be lost in translation, and there's so much that can be missed when you don't have the context of actually seeing the person speak to you and explain to you what they're writing. And so even though we only check in once a week, the video check-ins are just, they're really great. They're really awesome. And I think that they just are a great way to communicate, and they work out really well. I work with Steve as my coach, and he always makes it a point to address every single aspect or question or point that I've made in my video check-in. So he goes through as he's watching your video, and he writes down all the points, and he makes sure that he addresses it. Even if it's just a yes or a no, or it's not a lengthy explanation, it's always addressed. And so nothing gets lost in those video check-ins. It really works out really well. Another point that I think makes Steve and Revive stand out among the crowd is that they are extremely flexible to your lifestyle. Like I said before, I'm not a competitor. And so this is just kind of an important thing to me in my life, but it's not the most important thing to me in my life. And so Revive is very, very wonderful at understanding that even though that's the main thing in Steve's life, he understands that it might not be the main thing in yours. And so he's absolutely willing to work around any adjustments that you need made. If you have vacation plans coming up, or, if you are super stressed out at work, or whatever else might be going on outside of your life, they always work around that. And they always understand that those things come first. And, that this training, though it's important, it all needs to be taken into context, and they're willing to work with you that way. And it's wonderful. They have a really awesome knack for doing that. It's great how they make that work. They even adjust to your likes and dislikes. Anytime Steve gives me a program, he always wants my feedback even before it starts. How does this look to you? Are these exercises that you're enjoying? Are you progressing properly? Is there anything that you want to do different next time? Always wanting all of that kind of feedback from you so that they can make adjustments to the whole big picture. Another point that makes Revive stand out is that Steve doesn't just give you a program with numbers to meet. He doesn't just give you sets and reps and weight and macros to hit. He asks questions. One of the questions that they like you to address when you do your video check-ins is, how is your motivation to train? And that's really something that can be missed easily when you work with other people. They might look at your numbers and just base your changes and your adjustments off of that. But Revive looks at the whole picture. Revive looks at, just the motivation to train. They adjust accordingly. They want to know if you're really enjoying what you're doing, and if you're because that's really like the biggest part in how you're going to succeed, is you have to want to do this. And even though not every day might be super enjoyable, they always make sure to address any issues that might come up, and to make sure that what you're doing is sustainable and that you really like it, and it's something that you enjoy doing in your life. In order to do that, another thing that makes Revive stand out is they collect tons of data. They collect scale weight, measurements, fatigue rating, sleep rating, macros, progress pictures, motivation to train. They collect all of this data about you, plus your video check-in, and they use all of those data points to create a structure and a big picture that's perfectly tailored to you. It's perfectly tailored to your goals, your lifestyle, how much effort that you can and are willing to put into meeting those goals. And it's really amazing how they can take all of those data points that seem to be objective, but they look at them subjectively and create a program and create a picture that's perfectly tailored to you, and that they find an amazing balance between training, nutrition, and your life. Just like their logo says, they find that balance, they make it work for you, and it really takes a lot of stress off of you, because you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about how to interpret the data. You don't have to worry about, what happens if a stressor comes up and you're not able to train that day or that week or anything. They take care of it. And so they have an amazing knack of figuring out how to make that balance personally for you, and then it just blends right into your whole life. It's really refreshing. There's no stress, and it works. It works so awesomely. Even though they take all the stress off of you and they make all these decisions for you, and they're very, very, very good at it, they still encourage independence and learning in your training. I was a little bit nervous when I first started working with Steve that he didn't give me specific load on the bar to perform my exercises with. And I was like, what do I do? And he just gave me the education and the tools and the plan to go in and to be able to figure out for that day and for that mesocycle what load I should be using on the bar to hit the range. And that's just one example. And it's amazing because they're so willing to share all of their knowledge with you and make sure that you have a clear understanding of what's going on, that you can go into the gym and you are empowered, you're confident. If something comes up that's off program or out of the ordinary, you can handle it no big deal, because they've equipped you with the confidence and the education to be able to work around it. And you have their back and they have yours. And it's a wonderful relationship that way. And that autonomy is really, really nice, because again, it takes all the stress off. If something should not go to plan or something should come up, no big deal at all. You know they're not going to steer you wrong. They're not going to let you, go down the wrong path. They basically make sure you stay on the right path, but you do all the walking. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful learning experience, and it's empowering, and it makes you feel great, and it makes you love what you do. You never feel lost in the crowd with Revive Stronger. And for somebody who's not a competitor, who's just kind of a very ordinary person, who this isn't the number one priority in their life, you can very easily feel lost in the crowd, because you feel like, since you don't have a deadline, or you don't have a show, or you don't have a specific time frame to meet a goal, that you're not important enough to get their attention. But they never let you feel that way. You might get a repost on Instagram, or you might get a DM on Instagram, or you might get a share to the team Facebook page, which they encourage to do, like for feedback and team spirit. And those little things remind you that, like, they're thinking about you, and they care about your training, and they care about your program, and they care about your coaching relationship outside of just that one day a week that you check in with them. Like, they're watching you, and they're keeping an eye on you, and they enjoy it, and they like it, and they like interacting with you in those ways. And so it's really nice to feel not lost in the crowd. You can tell that Steve and Pascal really love what they do, and that they have a passion for what they do, because not only does it come out in all of their free content that they provide to everybody, but it's even more so pronounced whenever you work with them in a coaching environment. Their passion is contagious, and it makes you passionate about reaching your own goals and meeting your own goals. And so even when things don't go 100% right, you are still just super excited to just keep moving on, because they have your back, and they're passionate about what they do, and they love what you do, and then that makes you love what you do, and it works out so beautifully. And then finally, and really what it comes down to in the long run, right, is results. I've only been with Revive since September, and it is currently the 1st of March, right around the beginning of March, so a couple of months. But already I am seeing gym PRs, and that's not even really my main goal. That's just kind of a side effect, if you will, of trying to get to the main goal. And I consider myself an early intermediate, and so progress isn't going to be real pronounced or super fast for me personally, but I'm still seeing it. I'm still seeing the progress, and I'm still seeing the PRs, and it's results, and you can't argue with that. You know what I mean? So those are all the ways that I think that Revive stands out in their coaching and their coach-client relationships. And if you have been on the fence about wanting to work with them, or think that, wondering if they're the right fit for you, do it. You will not regret it. It has been an amazing experience working with them. I would love to continue working with them, and really excited to see what the future holds. Cheers, everyone.